Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an edition of How to Beat Terran Mech Play. I will have to apologize for some earlier videos I did, in which case my voice was entirely deadpan, but I was also up entirely too early to actually be doing those. Those were part of a school project that is gone. I got A's all around. I'm happy with it. But I've been reading over the forums of both the Team Liquid and the Battle.net forums, and a lot of people have trouble with Mech. Hell, I have trouble with Mech. But I have come across a solution, and it's something I pulled straight out of Brood War, and it's pretty straightforward, and hopefully I'll be able to bring that solution across to you. If you look at the game timer, I have no idea how to do the splash thing without doing video editing, which I don't know how to do. This game is about 40 minutes long. A lot of it is because Terran was just really resilient and I couldn't crack them all the way, but also it just takes a long time to actually beat Mech. As you can see, it's on Metalopolis, cross positions, all kinds of good stuff, nobody trying to do anything sneaky, which is unfortunate for the first 5 minutes, but then after that it gets interesting as units start actually moving around the map. I'm doing a 15 hatchery build. It's what I do. I almost never do anything different. 15 hatchery, 14 spawning pool. This particular game takes place after the 2 racks SCV all-in was made popular, and I still do it. You can defend it with enough Zerglings and a spine crawler. It really does work. Terran is not doing anything remarkable, and I don't play Terran at all, so we're gonna ignore him for a few more minutes. He's scouting me at pretty much exactly when I want him to be scouting me, maybe 30 seconds late, because normally for cross position scouts that will usually hit me at about 14-15 food instead of what should be about 18 or 19. How much do you have? 16, 17, somewhere around in there. Whoops, that was the pause button. Moving on. That's the gas. Drone's going on gas. Metabolic boost once I get down to gas. Then lair. It's just pretty normal opener all the way up until you can determine you're facing a meching Terran. I really don't do anything different from anything. Except in this case, I'll lose a drone for fun. It happens. Another thing is, this is a personal thing I do. If you were watching the mini-map while I was talking, you noticed I sent my first Overlord the long distance instead of the short jump across the bases. It's personal preference. I just do the long scout just because so many players do have it timed out to where they can send an SCV and figure out where you're at, and it just throws them off. I get information about the same time because I know if you're cross positions by food scout, well, knowing what food when you scout, and the overlords do the rest. If I had an overlord in Terran's base right now, I would be predicting banshees just from the 2 gas, and I'm gonna go ahead and set this to busy. Yay. This is something incredibly clever. I was going over this replay and I'm like, oh my god, this is genius. Unless you click on this command center, it is impossible or very, very hard to actually know that's a command center. It just looks like another factory or maybe even a starport all the way up until it gets most of the way done. And it's just, I was blown away when I saw that. That's really clever. Spine crawler, Zerglings, on my side, just completely standard stuff. Getting the Baneling nest, I'm still thinking, okay, there could be those Marines and SCVs coming in at any moment. Let's start getting something of a military going, get some Banelings and have fun with that. Getting the Overlord Scout in there so I can see what's going on. My timing is relative to about when I want to get a lair. And as you can see, this lair is late. So the timing is still about right for Overlord Scout, but the lair is of course late. And we'll go ahead and turn it on to my vision. I end up seeing only this tech lab. It's not telling me a whole lot. In fact, we'll go ahead and do this, and this is all I see. I don't have a damn clue of what's going on. So I'm still playing blind. I know he has this Hellion down here because he killed two of my scouting Zerglings around. So I know he has a factory, even though that didn't cross my mind. I looked at it and I went, oh, Hellion, and then I didn't even think that he had a factory. So I'm kind of messed up in that one. A little bit too scatterbrained for my own good. Right now, while Terran is moving around with this Hellion, he is expanding with his new command center. He does have siege mode being researched, his second tank being made, tech lab, marines, all that fun stuff. Getting ready to go into one of the first signals that a Terran is going at. And that's really heavy turtle play with tanks. One good sign that a Terran is not going to go for the huge end game mech push is if he does hit you with tanks in a siege mode timing push early. If you run into siege tanks, find a second base, chances are pretty damn high that the Terran's going mech, and you should start adapting. You can see I'm still doing relatively standard stuff, standard being relative. I'm getting a Spire, I killed a Scout. This is all about what I feel like I should be doing. Drone count suffering just a tad because I don't know what's going on. I want to make sure I have some money floating, some larva floating, so if he comes down with this huge ass push, I can go, hey, I have stuff. And right here, this Zergling getting killed by this siege tank is actually what tells me mech. I'm not joking. That just this tank killing the Zergling reads mech to me. To be sure, I have this Zergling running down in here and bunker that it's mech. There is no doubt in my mind this is mech. So I grabbed this base because he has an expansion, and there is the drone to take a fourth base. When the drone gets up here, it will create a fourth hatchery. And it will be 4 bases to 2 all the way up until the first attack. And then the game continues from there. Because the Brood War solution to mech is just have a lot of shit. If you watch, you can't watch a podcast. Listen to the Day 9 podcast from Brood War. He even says, to beat mech as Zerg, you must have a lot of shit. In this case, you want a lot of shit with Broodlords. This is my goal now. Get a lot of shit with Broodlords. That's pretty much my entire game plan at this point. There's an armory for Thors. I have not even scouted him at all.
Base is under attack.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going off of that siege tank and the expansion, and that's what I'm reading. I'm just reading mech out of this. Sniping a supply depot for victory, I suppose, or shits and giggles if you would rather have that. Getting a whole bunch of Mutalisks running, getting ready to do some harassment, slow him down a little bit. What the hell am I making? 7 drones and a whole bunch of Mutalisks. Alright. Doing the Overlord spread, just so I do have some idea what's going on. I'm going to rely on these Mutalisks to actually see what's in his base. I could be flying into a death trap of Marines and missile turrets, and as it stands, that's half true. And thanks to controlling the towers, having the Overlords flying around, I see these Hellions and they are going to die. Another good indicator of mech is blue flame Hellions. It's not as easy of a tell unless you see that particular detail, but it is a tell. Just moving around, seeing what's around. In this case, I'm going to get me a free tank kill. Be a little happy with that. With harassing Mutalisks, you want to try and minimize your own losses. Sometimes that's not always possible. Misclick on my part. You want to aim for tech labs, and if you can get away with it, supply depots and refineries. Tech labs slow them down, refineries slow them down, and supply depots slow them down. SCVs are great, but as you can tell, Terran players are all over protecting their SCVs. But not so much the production or the refineries or supply depots. And again, Hellions come around here, they are spotted, and begin immediately. 4th base is coming online, 3rd base is online, getting gas there, 2nd base is saturated, main base is a little undersaturated, but coming along well. Roach Warren for the lots of shit ground army portion. Infestation Pit for, of course, the Hive and then Greater Spire. making more mutalisks, so I have something that's an actual threat instead of a hey, I'm cute, aren't I? Starport for... Actually, I don't... medevacs. He makes medevacs before he makes Viking.